And I'm very, very much 95% there to say no. I don't think I meant to in my head. I was pissed off. I was so pissed off. I don't owe you nothing. I owe my loyalty to my ustads. That's it. My head was switched on. I'm going to get this done now. I have to get it done. Hi everyone, how's it going? It's been a while since I've made one of these videos. It's been a few years, and I'm thinking about starting it up again and see how that goes and see where it takes me. My first video is going to be about my worst experience at a job. So I did this job a few months back. I think it was in 2026 this year, Ramadan, right? I took on a job now in Ramadan. In the month of Ramadan, I don't work. I tend not to work. Maybe a few last minute stuff where I'm very very needed, or else it won't happen, and they're stuck. So I'll take on a few things just to fix it and stuff. But usually I wouldn't take on jobs during Ramadan. So what happened was somebody recommended me. They found out that Bolton Darul Ulum, and yes, I've named them. And I'm gonna give you a disclaimer soon. Bolton Darul Ulum was looking to hire somebody to film something. So they got in touch with me, a mutual friend. I said, listen, Bolton looking for somebody to film something. Are you available? Yeah. I got very excited. I got very, very excited because I graduated from Bolton Darul Uloom, and I've been looking for a way in, and not that they want that, not that they didn't want me. It's just that they keep the game. I keep replying back and stuff like that, and I get busy. They get busy. What it is. So I spoke to the principal, a few years back, when he first coming in, because Bolton was still in a turmoil state and trying to regroup and change and build and refurbish and stuff like that. So they were going through a lot of stuff. I went down and I called them, and we had a meeting. Where we had a meeting, I sat down and I met with this gentleman, and now I'm not gonna name names, but there was this gentleman, a Mufti Sab, who wanted to erect the Sana program, right? I'm not gonna explain what the Sana program is. Can't be bothered. Briefly, okay, go on. The Sana program is for people who want to experience the Darul life without having to spend 7 years. Right. Normally, when you want to experience the Darul Uloom boarding life, right, you have to either go into as a Hafiz student to memorize the Quran, as a Hifz student, or you go into the Alima course, the Alim course, the Dars program, right, the Dars Nizami program, which is 7 years, 6-7 years, depending on how progressive you are. But that's it. That's all there is. So this Mufti Sahab, which is, I grant it, it's actually quite a good idea, and it is. It's for either uni students who want to take a year out from university, who want to just spend a year in madrasa, experiencing the boarding life of madrasa, learning about advanced knowledge of Islam, advanced hadith and tafsir and other beautiful things of the whole syllabus, right? Which most people don't have access to, or most people don't have experience in learning, or because you usually need teachers to guide you, show you, and teach you basically. So anyway, that's the program, and it's only a 1 year course. So, and I wanted to create awareness now, so hence why I come in. I needed to come in and create a film, a promotional film, an awareness film, to make sure people are aware of this program. Now, my initial first meeting, my first impression about them was about him. Let's just say him. I'm not gonna say name. Just he'll be known as Mufti Sab. Mufti Sab was interesting fellow, and I don't know how to say this, but I don't know how to say this in a nice way. He was those typical Mufti Sabs who gets used to the privileges of life, let's say. I'm not trying to badmouth him yet. I'm not going to badmouth him, by the way. But there are some negative things that I can say a lot about, by the way. I'm going to try to be as civil as possible, but I'm going to be as honest as possible as well. Now, I've worked with a lot of clients in my life, yeah? A lot of clients. I met with very fussy clients. I met with very picky clients. I met with people who, you know, just think that they know a lot of things, but they don't. But you get along with them. So I know how to deal with all that. I know I'm 40 years old. You know what I mean? What the hell? I've dealt with a lot of people. You just know how to just get past and think about the objective, which is the end goal, the result, right? As long as we can get there, fine. I've also met with people who have strong opinions, right? So suppose in a film we were making together, where I was the producer and the other guy was the DP. Now we had very strong opinions. Now this is a group effort, right? We're all working towards the same objective. And we had very strong opinions. Now the third person was saying, guys, don't fight. Me and him, the one we were having strong opinions with, me and him stopped her saying, listen, we're not arguing, we're not even debating. We are so passionate about the film is that we think what is best for the film. So me and him have no hard feelings. He believed in something, or the direction that he was taking was the proper way, and I had my own opinions about things. But anyway, we agreed on something and we moved on. No hard feelings, and we still work together, by the way. We still work together. There's no hard feelings. So I come across people who have very strong feelings about things, as long as it's healthy, meaning you have the project in mind and you have the best interest for it as well, right? So I don't mind that. But this was different. This was different. This was about ego and in charge and what I say goes and stuff like that. And anyway, so the first meeting was that I thought initially you've got a product. Basically, so how it works is with me and my clients is that they have a product or a service. I come in and I create something, an ad or a story or a script and a storyboard and everything, right? I make a few, 1, 2, even the third choice sometimes, but usually the 1 and 2 are enough, because I do a lot of homework. I ask a lot of questions before I even start storyboarding or script writing. So hence why the 1 and 2 drafts or versions are enough. Sometimes if the client is still not happy, or I think there's a better idea, usually the first 2 ideas are safe-ish based on what they want. Then I create a third one which I think is quite radical, like out of the box sort of thing. I sometimes do that sometimes, right? I like throwing out ideas. I like to be ambitious and, you know, whatever. But so this is what I thought. You've hired me, you called me over, we talk it out, and I ask questions. What's it about? And I couldn't get a straight answer from the Mufti Sab, right? He had a third guy there as well, who was a bit younger. I think he's one of his subordinates or one of his students or whatever. It's just someone who liked to follow him around and really admired him, and this whole reverence about him, you know. Anyway, and he was a young kid, 20ish, 22, something like that. and he really, looked up to him and really admired him. Because people like that, like with Mufti Sab, right? They don't like being questioned, and the atmosphere, which I'm very familiar with, you don't question. You trust what your elders say, and they know best, and all these things, which is mostly right in a lot of aspects, but not in this. I'll get to that. So I keep asking. So my main objective is, what's the message here? Right? What's the message? What's the main point? What do you want to get out of it? I need to know the answers for this so that I can know what direction I'll need to take this promotional film. I needed to know. But so they explain a lot of things. You know how people say a lot of things but actually saying nothing. Right? It's actually one of them. And I'm not somebody who waffles. Don't judge me on this, right? Don't judge me on this. I am waffling now, I think. But anyway, but to get a clear answer, they would talk, and they would say what the program is about and everything else. But say like, what's your target audience? What's the message? How do you want to do it? All these things, right? So, and it was mixed messages. When you have too many messages, then the story, the angle, it gets a bit vague. Right, it gets a bit vague. You need a clear answer. You need a clear message for the people, because sometimes when you make a video, you have to, with no offense to anybody else, you need to spoon feed it. Right? Don't make it hard for people to come and figure out what they're talking about. No, you have to make it clear from the beginning what you want the audience to understand from your film, from your promotional film, from wherever. From wherever it is, the message is very important, and it has to be clear from the get-go. And they weren't doing that, and I got frustrated. And I'm trying to be respectful and clear, but also direct. I don't owe them nothing, even though Bolton Darul Uloom is where I'm from. I graduated there, but these are not the staff that I know. They're just guys who are either similar age or were a bit younger. So I owe no loyalty to them. I'm only gonna listen to my ustads who taught me personally. Now, if I do something wrong, they have the right to point out and call it out, right? But that's it. Either my ustads and my parents are the only ones who are allowed to tell me off for anything if I'm doing something wrong. Right, my parents, obviously my parents, and most stars actually do have a lot of, access to what they can say to me, and I will take it, even if they like give me like one of them, yeah, and I'll take it. Fine, good, I want actually worse, but it is what it is. But these guys, I want talking to these guys. These guys are similar to my age. He was probably a couple of years older than me, but he was acting as if he was the boss, proper reverence, and I'm the guy, I do want me. I ain't falling for that. You know what I mean? I don't owe you nothing. So anyway, that thing wasn't working with me. I only owe loyalty to my ustads and my parents. But he was trying to be that. He was trying to be like my ustad, and he was carrying himself like that. And I wasn't taking that. And I think he got the gist of it in a way. I wasn't being disrespectful. I was just being very bold. Everybody was really going, yes, Usaji, or Mufsab. Oh, listen, it's just a dude. I was, saying relax, asking questions, being bold. I think, So I was being very direct. Your message is lost. Your message is not clear. Your story is not clear. They had a script. I forgot to mention. They went to ChatGPT, obviously, and they put some words down and create a script. I looked at the script, and as a filmmaker myself, by the way, who is fully aware of script writing, storytelling, and everything else, I'm fully capable of understanding the format of script writing. What they were giving me is just a Word document, basically. Scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. No, script writing has its own format. You can't use ChatGPT. You need to use different software where you script write. Anyway, fine. That's forgiven. They don't know, right? That's fine. I did actually grill them on it. Just saying. They had their own script, and I was reading the script and read through it, and I couldn't figure out what the message was. I didn't know what it was about, but it was so all over. They wanted everything. This is, by the way, in the month of Ramadan, first meeting. Anyway, I said, listen, let me do it my way. Yours is too long. We don't have that kind of time. We had like 9 days to make this film. 9 days. From the day of the meeting, he had 9 bloody days. They wanted it released in some like 27th Ramadan or 28th Ramadan, whatever it was. 9 or 10 days. And it's, mate, listen. You have a script that has like 4 or 5 locations. You have like chefs, and you have doctors, you have lawyers, you have solicitors, you have all these characters in, right? Where are you gonna have the time to recruit all these people? Where are you gonna find them, right? And I obviously questioned their script. You make a script based on your capability, based on what you have available. That's how you make a script. You don't make a fantasy script here thinking let's find out how to apply it. No, you make a script based on what you have available to you, around you. Do you have a butcher that is available, a lawyer, or all these people? You need to have these things in hand, and you have access to beforehand when you write a script, right? We have 9 days to make this film, and all these characters and all these people. Listen, we don't have all these people. We don't have the time for all that, right? And they were assuming I have access to everybody, and I don't. I don't. I've done a few films, like 4 or 5 films, and the process is quite long. To find people to audition, to come and audition for you, to do the script, it could take days just to even find the right person, right? And then you had the time to so once you approved of the script, you need to do pre-production. You need to plan, storyboard, right, and everything. It takes a long time. Takes a long time, anyways. So I obviously come from a filmmaking background. I understood straight away this is nigh enough impossible to make, right? Or if it's just too difficult, it's too challenging. You don't have a team around me. You don't have the budget. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. All right, we'll get to that. So I keep asking, what's your budget? What's your budget? What's your budget? And what's all these things? They didn't have a budget. They had no budget. Let that sink in, right? It's like a I forgot how many pages, but I think it's like 7, 8 scenes and 4, 5 locations and like 6, 7 characters, and they have no budget. Oh my god! I'm like, obviously understanding script writing and filmmaking, I saw it straight away. To everybody else, they were a bit clueless, oblivious how much work. I was considered, this is too much work. You can't do it within 9 days. But anyway, so I offered my solution is, let me create a script which is more realistic, more clear to the message, and the objective is to get the awareness of Sana program, which is what they call it, to the people, right? If it's uni students or just people who want to break and want to experience, whatever it was the audience was, I'll create the script and I'll make sure that the message is very clear. So okay, fine, they agreed. I went back, I spent some time within like 1 day, and I got my script ready, handed it over. They had a look at it. They didn't like it, right? It was like one of those, they were going to say no anyway. I found out later they were going to say no anyway, and I said, let's just go with our script. Our script is better. I go, what the hell, man? You know what? I got to think about it. It's the month of Ramadan. You hardly have time in Ramadan anyway. You don't have time at all. Your nights are busy, your days are busy, and I still had a business to run as well, clients work, and the client work that I had during Ramadan wasn't that much um, big, right? It was just client work, content creation for the businesses, which is easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So I thought, you know what, uh, I gotta think about it. I don't have that kind of. It's just too much. So I went back home, giving it a lot of thought, and I'm very, very much 95% there to say no. And the next day in the morning, I was just about to reply back via text to say, listen, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I think you should find somebody else. Oh, that reminds me. They actually, in the first meeting, they told me they found somebody else, but they rejected him because they found him to be unreliable. That's how they worded it. Found him to be unreliable. Looking back, obviously, back then, even straight away after a day, I sort of realized, listen, any videographer worth his salt, right? Any filmmaker worth his salt will say no to this. Ironically, I'll tell you in a bit. Any videographers, right? But by the way, will not be able to pull this off. The script that they had, a videographer, no videographer who has not experienced filmmaking of film, character, dialogue, and seen all these things, will not make this. Can't make this. It's too difficult. For a average filmmaker, I would suggest myself as an average filmmaker, right? I'm not some Hollywood producer or big time multi-million pound film guy, nothing like that. I'm just a filmmaker who is moving up in the world. I have some experience, but not as much as I want. I want to get there. But anyway, I'm a filmmaker. I have some experience making films. So, understanding that this is near enough impossible or very, 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 very challenging. An average filmmaker will say no. A videographer will have to say no unless he's desperate, like a yes man. If the videographer yes man, because he thinks there's some money in it, he might say yes, but then fail. Whatever the reason, a good videographer worth his salt will say no because he can't make it anyway. A videographer cannot make this script into a film. So anyway, I was going to decline that morning. I text back. I think something happened, like kids and family or whatever it was. I didn't. I was going to do it in the afternoon. Then obviously Ramadan, you just can't be bothered, right? It's just things happen and you get tired and you have been doing things and your brain can't think, right? Oh, you're fasting as well. Oh yeah, how much Ramadan? You're fasting. So after Mufti Saab, by the way, he played it quite clever. Cause before my my expressive behavior that I am loyal to my ustads, is what I said. I am loyal to my ustads. I don't know you. You guys are staff of Darul Uloom, and I respect you, and I make dua for you guys. I pray for you guys that you play a major part in growing Darul Uloom Bolton. But I don't owe you nothing. I don't owe you nothing. I owe my loyalty to my ustads. That's it. I don't owe you nothing. So I don't have to accept anything you say. Based on that comment, he pulled a card. Mufti Saab pulled a card. He called one of my ustads, who I respect a lot, by the way. And you know what? I think I should mention his name as well. Then you know. He called up Maulana Mahmood Chandiya Saab. Actually, more specifically, Dr. Maulana Mahmood Chandiya Saab. And he's a ustad I respect, highly respect. So, Ustadji called me up just after Maghrib. After Iftari, he called me up, and I was about to decline anyway that evening after some food in me. I can think, well, I thought I'll decline. 'Cause I'm now relaxing. In my head, I've already declined. I've just not expressed it yet. So in my head, I've already declined. So after Maghrib, he called me, and I saw the name on my phone. I was like, wow, Mostad's calling me. You know what I mean, like, oh, well, let me just fix myself up. You know what I mean? So I picked the phone up, and Mostad's, he's expressing his gratitude and his happiness that he's glad that I'm a filmmaker. First, that I'm obviously one of his graduates, ended up becoming a filmmaker, and his understanding is that we needed somebody to be in the filmmaking industry to create our own narratives based on all that. He's just very happy that I became a filmmaker, and then he started saying he's very happy that I'm involved in this project, and he's happy that I'm involved in this project and things like that. And he also said that, listen, I'm sure he's been told things on the side, so he said to me that, listen, just have patience with them. They're not really familiar with the filmmaking industry protocol, procedure, whatever all that was. Just have patience, work with them, and inshallah you'll be alright. On the phone now, I'm thinking, oh, what the hell, how can I decline now? I can't disappoint Mostad. I can't say no now. And I straight away understood. Mufti Sab pulled the card. I can't say no. From onwards, my head was switched on. I'm going to get this done now. I have to get it done. And I'm going to finish it to the end. That's what it is. I'm going to finish it and I'm getting it done. Whatever it takes. Bear in mind, whatever it takes to get it done. So I started. They didn't want a filmmaker to create a script. They wanted somebody who had experience in filmmaking who could take orders. I don't like to be in that position. It's a very appalling position to be in. Unfortunately, I'm in that position, and I'm doing it now. Because most dads expecting this to happen, so I'm doing it now. I'm following their script, questioning their script, how they do it. I'm going through the motions and everything else to see what's needed and when, locations, and trying to finalize their script and everything else. I'm going with the flow now, yeah? I'm going with the flow. And then they had some ideas that unrealistic. I'm about to decline. They were happy with, but who cares? So I want to recruit. So by the way, I had 9 days. Now, like 2 days have already passed. We had like 6 days, like 7 days, so like that. So in that time, I got my nephews, got people who I knew, people who are willing. So like we were shooting like in the afternoon for 2 hours, like scenes, dialogue scenes, 2 hours. You know what I mean? Just me doing like run and gun style stuff. Very, very basic, because we didn't have the time to get a production crew involved or anything else. Like, even 1 or 2 people, they weren't available, right? Nobody will come with no budget. If someone wanted to help you, they weren't even available. I called a few people as well. They weren't even available. So I just got on with it. You know what I mean? Bit my tongue and just got on with it. Recruited my nephews, treated them with some food, called a few of my friends, alhamdulillah. Shot it after Isha, 11, 12 o'clock at night, like a 1.5 hours. Then we didn't rush. The kid came along. There was a kid involved as well who had a nice voice. Finding a kid with a nice voice who can talk and be confident on camera and everything else, mate, that's another issue. But alhamdulillah, we found one. And yeah, so we made the film. During editing, took a long time. Obviously, editing does take a long time. It takes longer than your film, right? It takes a long time, but I spent like and they had feedback upon feedback upon feedback, and making all the changes, fine. So their style of feedback. Normally, when you give feedback, you're on a video call and do it live, right, on the spot feedback, so that you don't have to keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, I learned that earlier on in my career, like 6-7 years ago, well, probably longer, 10 years ago probably. You do that on live call. You don't show, because what used to happen was, when you finish that first draft, you send it over, and then they give you feedback, and then send it over. That's okay. That's all right. As long as there's no time restrictions, that's fine. They're not in a rush. I'm not in a rush. It's fine. We do it. Send in the first draft. They have notes and they have all these things, and they give it back. But these guys didn't know how to give feedback. They spent like 4 hours. 4 hours. Granted, they spent time, but they were not efficient enough. In a way, I mean, they spent 4 hours. They told me, by the way, they spent 4 hours reviewing and making notes on Word documents and everything else and all that thing. Oh, crap! And even then, it wasn't clear. Like, I needed clear instructions, because listen, I'm working on a lack of sleep here. I'm spending all my time editing this film. By the way, all my client work all done, right? Got that done and dusted, so I can spend time on this film. So anyway, I'm sure I'm missing a few points out anyway. And then towards the end, there were a 2-3 day delay, because they kept adding changes. Change that, do this, and do that. Fine, right? I did it, but you gotta remember, you're adding changes which adds time, right? Which you don't have. So I did it without making a fuss about it. I was doing it with lack of sleep. I was working like 36 hours of working with like 2-3 hours of sleep. You know what I mean? I was like knackered. My brain wasn't even working. I was like an autopilot, and it was flipping. But I was getting it done. Remember what I said? Whatever it takes. That's the flipping. That's what it takes. Whenever someone says, whenever we say here, whatever it takes, that means whatever it takes, you get it done. That's the principle that I live by. Or else I won't take it on. Unless it's a big project, important project. Anyway, they were giving feedback, which is inefficient. Had to go through them live as well. Now doing the video call, going through how to even decrypt the flipping feedback, which is on Word document. I couldn't understand it myself, so they had to explain it. They said, okay, so I made my own feedback based on their feedback, like what the actual feedback should have been while watching the film. That's how it should have been. Anyway, made the feedback that I understand, applied all the changes exactly the way they want it, right? So once the film got approved, they had to send it over to the committees, whatever, everybody else. I will listen, I'm not dealing with the committee, I'm dealing with you. You're the one who hired me, you're the one who's dealing with it. I'm not dealing with the committee. You are approving it, you approved it. If you're happy with it, I'm done. So anyway, long story short, ironically, this is not the long story. I've cut it short. I've not even said all the worst and bad bits. I'm just saying, it was a pain to work with. It was a pain to work with. Their attitude, their ego was full on, not appreciating my value, my input, my nothing. As soon as I said, because then after, I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a bit. So once the film is approved, the whole film, every change, so the final, by the way, in their Word document, final changes. After they watch the last third, fourth draft, this is now approved. I've rendered the video, the film. I've rendered it, which takes about an hour or so, or 45 minutes, depending on how fast my computer works. Render the video, send it over, everything, all the changes, all the bloody nitty gritty changes, all the sound effects and all these things, everything. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this is about a 9-minute film, innit? Yeah, I forgot to mention that. They wanted, so the script was 9 minutes long. This film. Now, when you write a script, when you use proper software, when you write it on a proper software and you write a script, that's how you know how long the film is, because it's formatted like that. Each page approximately represents a minute. In the industry, everyone knows that. Everybody knows this, right? Everybody knows this. When I say everybody knows, every single anybody worth their flipping filmmaking salt here knows when you use proper formatting in script writing, a page means a minute. Now, it can extend a bit longer or shorter, whatever it is, but approximately a minute. So you know, average. So if it's a 5-page film, it's a 5-minute film. It can extend to 1 minute, can even decrease in 1 minute as well. No problem with that. It goes up and down. But when you create a script which is only a Word document and it's got all the flipping scenes in it, at 6, 7, 9 scenes, right? Which you can't tell how long the film is. Now, me seeing this obviously getting a bit boggled. Listen, this is too complicated. And how long is this film? They go 5 minutes. But the scene demanding, the scene that you've said is actually 10-minute long. And I actually said this before, so I predicted it correctly. A 10-minute film. So at the end of it, once I made the edits and everything else, based on their script, it became like a 9-minute film. I'm probably understating that, by the way. I'm probably understating that, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's a 9-minute film. Now, the changes was they wanted to decrease it to 5 minutes. We ended up saying 6 minutes. We ended up making a 6-minute film. They wanted a 5-minute film from a 9-minute film. The film currently is 9 minutes. They wanted to decrease it to 5 minutes, but we ended up making it to 6 minutes. Right? Just shy of 6 minutes. Just shy. Because it was like after cutting a lot of scenes and cuts and dialogue and everything else, right? Scenes that are not required had to be cut. I said it in the beginning as well. During the script, before we started shooting, this is not required. We end up cutting those scenes out anyway, right? Some scenes didn't need to be long. Some dialogues didn't need to be said. Some shots were not required. Some characters were not required. The message was clear. You don't need this many characters. You're just dragging along. It'd be like a boring film then. But anyway, we ended up cutting all that along. Wasting time as well, shooting it, which we didn't have time. Anyway, this is going back and forth. Long story short, final version, the shy of 6-minute film was made. All the graphics, the everything, everything, all the nitty-gritty graphics was added, changed, submitted, rendered, followed, handed over. They were happy with it. And then now, officially I said, am I done? Yes, you're done. Alhamdulillah, you're done. We're dusted. Final version done. Final, you know how it is for filmmaking. You don't give the final version, you give the final version 0.3, final version 0.4, final version 0.5. That's one of them. So it's point something anyway, 0.3 or 4, whatever it was. Final version done. So now they came, Molly Saab, sorry man, we need you to cut this scene out now. I go, no, I'm done. I've spent like 37, 48 hours, yeah, not sleep, more than 48 hours. I was like 3-4 days with minimum, like not minimum, like limited sleep. Limited sleep. I couldn't stay awake. I spent so much time in editing this film. I spent no time with my family, my kids, flipping anything else. Just knackered. It's Ramadan. Last 10 days of Ramadan as well. I was trying to finish my khatam as well. I wasn't doing that. I put everything on hold. Because I had to get it done. Because I gave my word to it. I gave my word. I said, well, I'll give whatever it takes. One of the worst mistakes I made. It actually really spoiled my Ramadan. It spoiled my last 10 days. I couldn't go to itikaf. I do itikaf every single year, by the way, last 10 days, and I couldn't do it because of this. I ended up doing last 2 days or 1 day, I can't remember. And I couldn't do it. Anyway, Hand over, say, listen, I don't give a damn. I'm not doing it anymore. I am not doing it anymore. You guys are taking the mick. Spot my Ramadan. You spot my itikaf. You spot my last 10 days. Not doing it anymore. Now, normally, I will never ever give anybody raw files. Never. The raw files ain't yours. Unless you mention it beforehand in the contract, fine. Then I add a few costs because that's supposed to be mine and I'm going to use it as well. So I add the cost because whatever it is. Never give raw files. But for the sake of this project, I didn't give a damn. I handed over the entire project. I go, listen. And by the way, they threatened me, by the way, as well. This is why I got really thinking of. I got ticked off. They threatened me, said, we could get another editor and do it ourselves. I go, do it. I'm not. Because they thought I'm holding them hostage because I have all the whole project file. I go, listen, do it yourself. Take it. I don't actually give a damn. I'll hand over the entire project file and it's yours. Take it. Take it. I don't want it. But I didn't say it like that. In my head I was thinking that. What I said was, I'm happy to hand over the entire project file, everything, and you can tell your editor to do themselves. Now, in my head, I know for a fact, if you have seen a film timeline, right? A film timeline, it's complicated. It's very, very complicated. And they thought it's just a simple video. They thought it's just a simple video. But just simple, just dialogue and thingy, the video itself and the audio beneath it, and it's done easy. No, it's not. A film is very complicated. A timeline it gets complicated. And I'm also very organised by it. I'm very, very organised because I know how filmmaking works. How you edit. Make sure everything is in its place and in its own bin, its own files and everything else. Very organised. I've got experience in it. I've got 7-10 years of experience. Being organised is very important. So look at that. So that years later, you can then approach to that file later and know exactly where it is because you have a pattern of how you organise. So anyway, that's my style though. I know how I do mine. Handed over the project. They made no changes. They had to accept the way it is because the editor couldn't figure out what to do. How many filmmaking editors are you gonna find around this place unless you pay them, right? If you're gonna, there's a videographer a dime a dozen, right? Videographers are a dime a dozen, but they have no. Their editing skills in terms of filmmaking is near to none. It's nothing. They don't have any experience in that, so they may edit 5 minutes, probably even 10 minutes videos with some simple sound designs and transitions and stuff like that. Whoosh, yeesh, ow, ding, whatever sound effects I have. Those are simple. Those are easy. Film is much harder. You got dialogues. You got ambience. You got surround sound. You got all these things. All these things including in the audio and the files and you got the graphics and everything else. It's a very complicated timeline. Anyway, I think in their position, they're thinking, bro, this is too hard, man. This is too hard. This timeline. So anyway, so basically, I know the project, and they released the film, and this was one of my worst experiences with the client, if you can say. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the biggest problem. I'm so sorry about this one. The biggest problem. Now normally, I am hired to do a job. They are client. I am the hire, basically. So some money was involved. I did not charge them my normal rate. I charged them a very, 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 very discounted rate because I wanted to work with Darren Bolton. Finally, do some good, give back, and how I can help with my services. All I wanted was my some cost, right? Some cost stuff, which is not a lot, right? Compared to making a film, which is not a lot, right? So anyway, I'm not gonna say. So when money is involved, my rule is make a contract because money is being exchanged, right? We make a contract. As Muslims, friendship, throw in the bin. No, but not throw in the bin. You don't do business while being friendship in mind. Friendship should be a secondary thing. Business is business. You know what I mean? If money is being involved, money is being exchanged, you throw in the contract. Make sure everyone understands what the job is, what the services is, what you expect from me, and what the result should be. Okay, so I sent over a contract. They got very upset with that. How dare I send a contract? You are a Darul Uloom graduate. You are part of the family of Darul Bolton. You know, we consider you whatever, all these things. You sent us a contract? They got really offended. Really offended. And they were even, not that they were, he was. The Mufti Sab was, yeah? Let's be clear about that. Mufti Sab is not officially part of the Darul Uloom staff. So, my disclaimer here, I don't blame Darul Uloom Bolton. They have found somebody who has bad business practices, by the way, right? They have bad business practice, and he doesn't understand basic business principles. And this is somebody, by the way, this Mufti Sab, right? I found out, has his own business, a dentistry business. He's a doctor. Yes, he's a doctor. He's a dentist. He's one of them dentist guys who looks into the teeth. He's a doctor. Nevertheless, he's in teeth, but doctor. So he's very capable. He's not a freshie, right? I don't mean that, by the way. But he's not from foreign country. He's born here, educated here, got a doctorate in this country. He's got his own business, got his own dentist. Now that might paint a picture now, innit? How can someone like this behave like this, have a massive ego? And I'm telling you, people who know me, people who work with me, people who hire me, I have had 100, because of this project, I no longer have 100% track record because of this project. But I can't confidently say I have delivered. But normally, delivery is not the only ambition I have. It's making people happy. If my clients are happy, they'll recommend me. That's how this business works. If my clients are happy, so I have had 100% track record with all my clients. I make sure I over deliver, and I make I'll make the video or the content or whatever the outcome is supposed to be better than they actually visioned. That's what my job is. This guy, he couldn't take the fact that when I sent him a contract, it wasn't a lot of money, by the way. When I sent him a contract, he wasn't happy with. He was even accusing me. Some of the points in my contract may not even be halal. And listen, I have got this checked by other ulama, other people. This is a standard contract, standard, nothing special about it. It's standard practice, right? Ulama know about this. I've got other friends who are also in the ulama industry, the imams themselves and everything else. I've had it checked out. It's 100% legal. You know what I mean? It's legal, more importantly, and halal, also importantly. And this guy accused me of this, but basically his ego got hurt, innit? His ego got hurt that I sent him a contract. I don't know what he was thinking. This is just normal practice. You have money, you're gonna pay me, I'm gonna send you a contract, or else where's the proof that we exchange money, right? Besides bank account. This is not nice, wherever it was. So hence my next day and everything else. So, long story short, I'm not even giving you the full story because I can't remember it happened that long ago. I just wanted to forget it. But I thought I'll tell you the story. One of my worst experiences in working with a client, and this client. And normally I don't really talk about these things. Like I said, I've met a lot of clients who may be very picky. The only reason why I don't mind it because they care. They care about the project. They are so ingrained. It's a baby. It's like a baby coming out the hospital for the first time. Yeah, make sure that your husband drives the car nicely, slowly, whatever it is. It's all because they care about something. So when I see my clients really being picky and really, scrutinizing everything because they care about the project. So why should I mind about that? You know what I mean? And then I find other ways to make sure that I said, I understand your point of view and all these things, but I think this idea might work. What do you think? And these reasons why. So I make my case. After making my case, they still don't see it. Fine. At least I've said it at least. I may push back a little bit as well, but that's also part of my job. Pushing back, or else I'm used to push over. But anyway, it is what it is. This is how I deal with things. Alhamdulillah, when the client sees the end result, they're happy with it, then they're happy with it. Alhamdulillah. But this one was different, man. This one was different. After the project was handed over and he was released and everything else, he told me we should sit down afterwards and talk and give notes, and we should sit down and exchange notes about how the project went. Basically, he wanted to bollock me, or he wanted to show me how everything I did wrong on his terms, in his area with his people. I'll be there alone. I'll have no backup. I'll have no somebody who's in the industry with me who can mediate this or whatever it is. He wanted to give his feedback and we should exchange notes. And obviously I saw through that bullcrap. I said, listen, I could say a lot of things as well about you, which I don't want to say even of your people, right? Let's just leave it as it is. Let bygones be bygones. I don't think I said bygones be bygones, but I think I meant it in my head. I don't think I meant it in my head. I was pissed off. I was so pissed off. But if I felt that they had good intentions, right, and they had a good approach to things and they realized they made a mistake, no, he didn't think he made any mistake. What he thought was right and what he thought was wrong, I was the one who had all the problems, you know what I mean? Listen, for all the clients I've had in the past, all the clients I've had in the past, I've had no issues with. No issue. I get along with everybody. I still work with them. And I get hired back. If that's not satisfaction, then what the hell is? So I know for a fact. I know for a fact, yeah, I am not the problem. They are definitely the problem. Massive ego. The ego got hurt. I could not be pushed around. I could not be a subordinate. I could not be submitted to their will. Yes, I did it. I did the job. I know. So listen, me and you sitting down here, right? Me and you sitting down, it ain't gonna be nice. I'm not somebody who gets pushed over. And I know for a fact the way I was feeling back then, I'm gonna be very aggressive. People who know me from when I was a bit younger, I may have done things that are quite violent and aggressive. I've not been that guy in a long time, by the way. It doesn't mean you've changed. It's that you've learned to be better. Let's say you learn to be better. You learn other ways of expressing things and channeling all that creativeness, let's say. But yeah, the way I was feeling, I've not felt like that with the person like that in a long time. And the way they were behaving, acting, talking, and I was taking it on the chin, and just bite my tongue, because my objective was to get the job done. So whatever it took, I'll take all the abuse and all of it undermining and all this bullcrap, right? I would take all that, because the job needed to get done, and it felt like I was the only one worried about that. You know what I mean? I was the only one. It's not even my program. It's not even my project. I was hired to do this project. It's your baby. But it felt like I was the only one caring about this project. Once I put my heart and soul into it, yeah, it's mine as well. So it felt like I was the only one worried about finishing this project, looking at the message, who the audience was, how the edit was going on. Was it flowing? Was it becoming boring here? What needed to be cut? What needed to be added? Everything. Anyway, I said, listen, me and you talking in a room won't be a good idea. It won't be productive. Let's just leave it at that and call it a day. Since then, I have spoken to him. One of his subordinates, good guy by the way, good guy. I don't think he had a choice. He had to. I don't know what loyalty he has. I'm not sure he's a ustad. He's a student of his or whatever. I don't think he is, but he's somebody who he respects. This kid, 22, 3-year-old, I don't know how old he was. He's a good kid, clever kid, but good kid, young kid, naive kid. He needs a lot of growing up to do. He's a clever kid who catches on things. He's inexperienced, but clever kid. So I'm hoping one day he'll be better than him. And he texts me next day, say Eid Mubarak. That's it. That's the story of. I'm not even sure I've said the whole story properly. I've been back and forth with you guys and all that. At least being me just ranting, me thinking about this. Not thinking about it. I haven't thought about this project in a while. After like the first 2 weeks, I was so pissed off, man, with this whole experience, because it's something that I accepted. I gave my word. I had to agree with something that I didn't want to do. I didn't believe in it as well, and I was doing it. So I hated being in that position. I hated being played like that as well. I haven't played like that in a while, but somebody had the guts to do that, and somebody actually succeeded doing that, and they played a card that nobody else could play. He played a card, no start card, and I couldn't say no to that. This video was not scripted, just all from memory, and I just thought I wanted to talk to the camera, talk about, and I'll start talking about my worst experience with the client, which was in Ramadan this year. My Ramadan was spoiled. My itikaf was spoiled. I do itikaf every year. It's important to me. Itikaf to me is very important. I spent my whole year, business, family, money, working, and all this dunyawi, worldly stuff, right? I decided this as from a young age. It started off my mum sending me to itikaf, and in honor of that as well, every year I do it. Every year. I've been doing it since I was 13, 14, right? I'm 40 now. I've been doing itikaf in masjid since 14. I do it every year for 10 days. Some, obviously, you have family as you grow older, you have work, and some work only, not all jobs allow you to do 10 days of itikaf. They do, you have a weekend in between. So you do 3 days, you do 5 days, you do 2 days, you do 1 day, whatever it is, based on the need. But once I've become self-employed, and I'm thinking, I make my own schedule. So I don't work in Ramadan. Simple as. I make my own schedule. Sometimes it costs me, but so be it. 1 year, 10 days out of the whole year. That's what I'm trying to say, by the way. 10 days out of the whole year, I dedicate my time only in the masjid to spend for myself, to rejuvenate my iman, my faith, my Islam, to remember why I'm doing all this, who is it for, what I should be valuing more, what I should be thinking about more. It's like a battery that I need charging in me every year. And this year, so hence why you can see why it's so important to me, itikaf and Ramadan and everything else, reading Quran and doing khatam and everything else. It's important. As you grow older, it's more difficult. Hence why it becomes more important to do it in the first place, because it's harder, because you have life in the way and everything else. So it becomes harder to do it. Hence because why it becomes more important to do it as well. And this year, because of this bloody project, my Ramadan was spoiled, my itikaf was spoiled, I couldn't finish my Quran khatam. So that's why I say it's one of the worst experiences I've had, as professionally speaking. Right, I never know how to finish these videos, you know. I never know how to start it, I never know how to finish it. But once I get going, I'm okay. So guys and girls, if you're watching, men, women, anybody who understands business, videography, filmmaking, or providing a service, if you understand all that, then you may understand my feelings in this and may empathize. And just be careful of who you work with, what kind of people you work with. Make sure you are professional at all times, and more importantly, get the job done. If you've given your word, you've given your word. So this is one of the jobs that I did, that I said yes to, and I believe that I am somebody who keeps his word. If I said yes to somebody, if I said yes to something, I do it. No matter how much I don't like it, no matter how much I hate it, I have to do it, because I've given my word. Because the word is all you have. You know what I mean? Or else you stand for nothing. You have no value. You have no principles. You know what I mean? Your word is everything. I'm tired now. It's a weight off my shoulder, man. I feel tired now. I feel light. I think I feel like I'm sleeping. Yeah, it feels good to say all this. You know what I mean? I've been dying to say this, to tell the story for a while. I've not even told it properly, but I know that it was just me venting and expressing all these feelings. Not even chronological as well. It's all just here, back and forth. But anyway, as I said, this video has been dragging long enough. I'll see you in the next one.